Hello guys. So it's not a surprising thing for you to see me like here with Andrius at Laba 7. If you have been following any of our social media, I've been doing a lot of videos for them. And one of the things that I've been really curious to talk about with Andrius specifically, the CEO of Laba 7, is how everything came about, because a lot of the values and the goals of Laba 7 go really hand in hand on what I am trying to do with Steps to Podium. And I thought to myself, having a small conversation with Andrius to go over what are the goals for Laba 7, what are the future plans, and how everything came about. I think it would be really interesting to give you some context, and honestly, just to have the chance to talk to you. So first things first, let's go over to what drove you to get into the suspension industry in the first place?
So I was myself driving motorcycles for maybe, 12, 15 years before or until now. And all my life was a passion for automotive. At some point, so I was working as an engineer. I was doing products, developing them, sourcing the manufacturing stuff and so on. And at some point I was kind of tired of providing the service. And and I was looking for some kind of product that I could do and sell afterwards, so I could work it out, perfect it, and so on. So at some point, one of my friends who has a suspension workshop, he came to me and said, can you make me a shock dyno? They're expensive, it's hard to buy them, and I was like, I will do it, 2 months, and it will be ready for you. So after half a year, I think, the dyno was not working at all. The mechanics was the easy part. But electronics and software, it's so sophisticated and difficult to make it good, or at least to make it work. I spent half of the year doing that dyno, and I kind of put everything to a rubbish bin. At some point I said okay, I will finish it. I will spend another half a year doing it. So after 1 year, I guess, the first prototype of the dyno was working. And I said, okay, look, I don't remember the price, but I think it was 4,000 or 5,000 euros that I said, I will make it for this price for you. At the end of project or end of the working prototype, it was 12 or 13,000. The price for which you just buy it off the shelf. Yeah. And I was okay, look, I still give it for 5,000, but I take all the IP and I will try to do the product itself. I will do I will just delete everything. I will start with all the know-how I have again from the scratch, and I will start doing the machine. So this is basically how we started, because we started with the shock dynos, then we came to the spring dynos, vacuum lead pumps, and all the products later on.
Okay. And how, for example, you took it was a hard pill to swallow for you to go over that, selling it at 4,000 or 5,000 euros, and then understanding how much it took you to develop that product. And so what drove you to just keep pushing?
Passion.
That's the right answer.
I mean, I have passion for automotive in general. I have passion for engineering. And those two connected. I mean, I can do my dream job in automotive field. And in the beginning, of course, we started working with small workshops and so on. I'm really happy to meet some of the people from those workshops. They really understand their work and so on. But now we are growing more and more, and we are starting to work with companies like Royal Enfield, the Volvo, BWI, all of the big guys, and information levels that we get now and understand the market and the product applications there. I'm just really happy to see all this information or all these possibilities coming to us.
And you also do drifts, right?
Oh yeah.
Tell me more how that connects also to what you're doing.
It keeps me alive, I can say like that. So I was doing rally races with a motorcycle. I still have few pieces here. I sold all of my rally bikes and race bikes, mainly for one purpose, to stay alive, because the rally rates and a lot of work does not match together very good. I don't have time to train. but I'm really a competitive person, so I want to be on the top. So in one of the rallies, I crashed hard. I went to the hospital on the rescue car, and I was like, I need something else. I need something with the, all the
Adrenaline,
with all the roll cages and so on. I still need adrenaline. So maybe road racing is not something for me, or I don't see how it brings so much of adrenaline. And also you have I need something that I can just go out, take my car, do few laps, go back in the garage, and that's it. So I have built myself a drift car, and it's just to have weekend fun, wash my brain off with all the issues and problems and decisions I have to make, and I really love it.
Sounds like
Plus, suspension is something that I'm educating people about in the drift now, as it's really important there, but not many people understand that yet.
It's unbelievable how suspension is probably, depending on where you're practicing, whether it's off-road or even on-road, how suspensions are something that people really don't give a crap's ass about it, but it's so important and makes a difference from night and day to any vehicle, actually.
Yeah.
And another thing, to move on to a different topic. So our collaboration has been obvious. We have been doing a lot of content, and luckily,
you are face of Laba 7, and you.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to say. You clearly deposit a lot of trust in what I'm doing for Laba 7, and I really appreciate it. But that comes with the belief that creating content is something important for Laba 7. And so what made you take the decision of, okay, let's focus on content, specifically for such a niche market, like suspension testing?
Yes, it's a niche market, and that's why I think we need the content. Many people, not many people, maybe it's not the right wording, but many workshops and so on needs an education in general, especially who don't have an experience on dynos, spring dynos, and vacuum leaf pumps, how those devices can improve your lives, improve your quality of work, and also shorten the time you spend on your work. Because once you get dyno, I heard this from many workshops actually, once you get dyno, you understand that all of the work you have done before was crap, more or less, because you find so many problems on the shock absorbers, on how you rebuild them, how you tune them, when you start dynoing them, checking the graphs, what it actually does. So I think that's why you need to educate the market through all of the equipment, how it helps, how it pays off itself, and so on. So that's why I think the content is a must.
And actually, it's something that I've been really grateful for the opportunity of working with Laba 7's products, because even I, as a suspension tuner, it's unbelievable the amount of information that I gathered and how much I learned, understanding that if you don't have an agnostic referential on what you're doing, it's really easy to miss the target. For example, even I was working with Diogo Vieira's suspensions. He just this past weekend he did the Super Enduro World Championship, and he did
in the Krakow.
Gliwice. Gliwice?
It's in the Poland. Yeah.
Okay.
The Krakow.
Yeah. And he had some complaints that he wanted to improve, and it was amazing that the regular changes that I was doing to other kinds of suspensions, so to regular spring. Metallic spring forks were not the same as the separate function forks, his air forks on the WPs. The range of adjustments that I was used to making on other suspensions for his suspensions was not at all the same range of adjustments that I needed. And it's something that we're talking about. Everything's on the line for someone like Diogo, where you need some kind of some level of performance. And if I, as a suspension tuner, am not able to deliver that, I'm lacking on my potential and my value as a suspension tuner. And it's something that I would only be able to understand with a shock dyno.
Yeah, and that's why we love working with you, because one thing you already, it's not like someone, how to say that, someone just doing some, features overview and so on of the dyno, but you yourself know how suspension works, how to tune it, and how the dyno helps to make this work better, much more quality and so on. So that's why we really love working with you.
Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. It's good to know that the content is a focus for you, because again, I think it's a market that really lacks a lot of information. It was something that really motivated me to do the series of the Off-Road Engineer, to just put out information there. Like, without knowledge, the community cannot grow.
Yeah, and other thing, I think why content is very important for us. We upgrade, comparing to other companies on the market, we upgrade our software weekly, monthly, or something like that. We make bug fixes, we make updates, new features, and so on. And sometimes we don't even have time to communicate them out. And someone like you can check those features if they're working correctly and communicate them out through the.
Yeah, no, it truly is. There's a great synergy that we have been building, and hopefully that translates into sales, because I hope people understand the value of the products that Laba 7 are making, and that eventually makes people decide to buy Laba 7.
Yeah, definitely.
Another thing, where do you think is the suspension industry headed, like as a whole? We can talk more specifically on the off-road side, because it's a more pure market regarding the suspension industry, so it doesn't rely on any electronics yet. Hopefully never.
Yeah.
Hopefully never. But where do you think it's headed?
Off-road. I think the off-road market is quite mature now.
Yeah.
That's at least I don't look, it's a little bit different. I work with the suspension testing equipment, so I don't have a lot of knowledge on the suspension market itself. From what I see and what I talk with the people, off-road market is quite mature. Few new features or new stuff pops out here and there on the shock absorbers, and they really improve, like these Fox shocks on the side-by-sides with the bypass valves and so on. They did a great job, and those fun cars or fun side-by-sides, I mean, they are super nice to drive. But in general, I think, upward quality, but some new features, we are at some cap level where it can be. When talking about road suspension, it goes all electric.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see clearly it goes semi-active or fully active suspension. And this is where all the industry is heading. I'm not sure if, of course, when you're talking about competitions, it will not, until FIA will not allow, it will not be allowed to use electronically controlled suspension. But even the off-road at some point, I think, and it already has some, I can see some newborns of companies where they produce semi-active suspension, especially with the hydraulic lifters and so on. So road racing or road suspension is already there.
Yeah.
They do a lot of semi-active shock absorbers, forks on the motorcycles, bicycles, cars, and so on. Passenger cars, we can see even active suspension, which adjusts itself regarding the riding conditions. So I think that's where the market is heading.
And you think it's a good thing?
For me, for us, yes.
Fair enough.
For us, yes, it's really hard to develop the shock absorbers. Definitely, it's hard to test them. For consumers, it depends. Sometimes it lasts much less than the normal passive due to complexity of components, number of components, and so on. But in general, I think when you want to achieve something better, you must improve or make something new. So that's how you do it.
And you have to risk going through the process of being shit first and then actually
I don't see if there's any other way. So we see that semi-active shock absorbers, we can see is quite good ones on the market now. Of course, new ones are coming there. Active suspension, I don't know, we will see.
And you think in some ways, as it plateaued, or because you can only insert that many new features in a small thing. Do you think there's room for any groundbreaking innovations?
We can already see some. I saw, many years ago, Bose did electromagnetic suspension. And I can see that there are startups already doing that again. Much lighter. Technology over the years improved a lot. So it's becoming much lighter, much cheaper and so on. And the suspension is one of the main things which corresponds to ride comfort. So it will be improved until it's perfect. And it will never be perfect.
So, next up, what do you think is one of the biggest highlights of Laba 7 so far?
EMA.
So tell me more about it.
I mean, we have, over the time, we had many highlights, delivered many products, improved them a lot and so on. But for the last 2 years, we have been developing EMA, and we did it totally different from how other companies did. Because other companies just collect components off the shelf from third parties, connect them, and that's how your EMA is born. What we have done our own controller, our own power unit, our own power solution delivered to EMA, and this just took a lot of time, a lot of knowledge. We have now tons of know-how on controlling actuators, all the algorithms and so on, and it was really challenging. Comparing to other products, I spent 5 times more money on developing EMA than on all of other products combined. So it was bloody expensive.
And we just recently knew from you sharing publicly that there are some F2 teams teaming up. So I'm guessing that at that level, the EMA makes perfect sense. So what does such a high-level team, such as an F2 team, is looking for when you're discussing them as a client?
They are looking into possibilities of testing, basically. How you can improve your testing, how you can test in general, and so on. Because one of the features, which I think is main for them, you can repeat track data on our EMA. So what you can collect on the data loggers, you can just push it through our software, and the actuator will just repeat it on the real time. And you can see how the shock absorber acts on various, situations, curves, turns, and so on.
So if essentially, I don't know if a lot of people have the notion of how important this is, but so essentially eliminate any kind of hiccup on the translation of track to testing.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect transition. It's a perfect transition.
Yeah, I mean that's something, and plus you can, because with the Scotch dynos, maybe you can cover 80-70% of what you need. It will just do perfectly. You will see what shock absorber is doing and so on. But you're repeating the same sinus wave motion. With EMA, you can do whatever, and that whatever really happens on the track, and then you can see how the shock absorber, acts on this particular moment. Does it dampen, or it's just hanging the wheel in the air? So I think EMA really helps to understand that, and you can clarify if your setup is good, or you can do the lap tenths of the second faster.
Which for like a Formula 2 team, that everything that's outside those 87%, it's more common than the other 87% actually.
In the races like F2, F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, whatever, you're looking for whatever there is. I mean, and if you manage to find it, you're first on the podium.
Yeah, you're getting an advantage over your competition.
Yeah.
And so, going over the competition, how do you think you were pretty much the new kid on the block when you got into the suspension testing industry? And how do you think your path so far has gone, compared to your competition? So how do you think the market was, and how did you came about? What kind of wreckage do you think Laba 7 has done so far?
So we are 4 years in the market now. I think something like that. We started in 2020. And comparing to our competition, we are baby girl, baby boys, and so on. We are just so small. All of the companies who sells shock dynos, another testing equipment and so on, like they are 20, 25, 50 or even more years old. And sometimes we lose competition just because of that. Our especially big customers who are like for the last 20 years dealing with those companies, they're like, why we should choose you? Yeah, you are better in the price, better in performance, better in features, and better in everything. But why we should choose you when you are so young? And what is the what's up to that? And yeah, sometimes that happens. And our competition in the beginning, they're like, oh yeah, okay, someone's trying to make a shock dyno. Good, try it. You will die after like a year or two.
Yeah.
Because I saw even now through the 4 years, I already saw this kind of tests or tryings, and that because that's really tough. But now competition starting seeing that like, but regards to them. And, because we are trying to do our best. We really have a good customer support, which will answer you all the questions more or less 24/7. We are customer focused company, and we really pay attention to what customer says us. If it's really something that we see a potential in the future, we will even implement it for free and so on, so on. So because we are so much customer focused, we are so agile and we can make implementation so fast. Now I can see, and we are still alive on the market, I can see that competition can see us, but their clients already see us that, oh, maybe we can take something more affordable, but even better. So I think we are being noticed.
You're shaking the pot.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's wait for next year.
That'll be good. And what are the plans for Laba 7 in the next coming years?
We have huge plans, actually. We have plans to expand in portfolio of products, to expand the team itself and our premises, because in the last 4 years, we have changed our premises 3 times from 50 square meters. I will share you the picture, how it looked like in 50 square meters. And now it's 600-ish, and I think we need like 2,000 for now to fulfill our plans. Because next year, I don't want to spoil it, maybe, but just shortly, we will introduce quite a few general purpose testing machines. We will make electromechanical testing machines, something in between EMA and Scotch yoke.
Okay.
And we might introduce some other testing, measuring machines not related to suspension. Because I want to go Laba 7. I see Laba 7 as a company who does full automotive testing. And then we will also take part in general purpose testing, because we have a lot of know-how in data loggers, building the machines, and yeah.
So you came about with, okay, we have so much know-how on data, on testing overall, that you understand that that's actually the hard part. Getting that kind of information and that kind of know-how is the hard part. And so making something that will accommodate the mechanical part, the hardware part, is actually the easy one.
Yeah. That's actually what I think. When you have a know-how on the testing machines, on how they should work, how it's working in general, that's the hardest part, and that's basically where the value is, not the mechanics itself. Mechanics, it's easy to copy and so on. But many companies who are even doing the testing machine don't understand that measuring is really difficult. When you need to measure something, it's super, super difficult. And sometimes when you are measuring your specimen like shock absorber, due to your mechanics, software, or electronics, you can be measuring part of the measurement will be machine itself. It will influence the measuring, and then your decisions can go just wrong. And that's the hard part.
So bright future ahead.
With all that know-how that we have now, we can make quite a few interesting machines.
And so you're just getting started.
Oh yeah, we are just scratching the surface, you know.
It sounds like a good plan, and I really hope everything goes according to plan.
Me too.
And once again, thank you so much for your time, and let's keep in touch. Later. Cheers.
Bye.